Do you need to make a quarterly tax payment? If you're brand new to business, if you're a sole proprietor, if you've just opened up an LLC, maybe even if you're an S corporation, this may be a question that you've asked yourself, and it's a very valid question. It's a question that at James Family Tax we get all of the time, and we love working with our clients to help them determine, first off, if they need to make a quarterly tax payment, and then what that quarterly tax payment should be. So that is what this video is going to cover today. First off, you need to make a quarterly tax payment if you expect that you're going to owe more than $1,000 in taxes whenever you do file during tax season. So this is part of the IRS kind of guidelines for determining if you need to make that quarterly payment. However, sometimes you may ask yourself, okay, well, how do I know if I'm going to make $1,000? There's lots of different factors to consider. I'll go over just some general rules of thumb. Absolutely, you should consult with a tax professional before making a quarterly payment. There is Form 1040 ES that's also available from the IRS website that you can use to help determine your quarterly tax payment. But if you are self-employed, if you're making some self-employment income, if you've made about $10,000 in profit off of that income, it's likely that you're going to hit that $1,000 threshold. There's a lot of different taxes that are new to a lot of people whenever they are self-employed. One of those is self-employment tax, which is generally 15.3% of the profit of their business. And so this can easily factor into that $1,000 benchmark. So when do you need to make these quarterly tax payments? April 15th is the first quarterly tax payment deadline, and that aligns with the IRS filing deadline for a tax return. June 15th is the second quarter, September 15th is the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter is going to be January 15th of the following year. So you may be looking at those dates and saying to yourself, well, those aren't actual quarters. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. If I paid my quarterly taxes in April, then how am I going to turn around 2 months later and file my quarterly taxes in June? The IRS has these dates because a lot of businesses may actually close their books in October. So the quarters aren't actual 4-month quarters. The first quarter is actually going to cover January 1st through March 31st. The second quarter is going to cover April 1st through May 31st. The third quarter is going to cover June 1st through August 31st. And then the fourth quarter is going to cover September 1st to the end of the year. So if you've got your books in order, going through and just looking at your profit and loss for those time periods, you should be able to easily determine how much profit you've made based off of that profit, generally how much tax you should pay, considering the self-employment tax, and then also considering your marginal tax rate or your effective tax rate for your household. All right, so we've got a general idea of if you need to make a quarterly tax payment or not. We know the dates for the quarterly tax payments. So what I'm going to do next is walk you through how to actually make the payment on irs.gov. There's actually 3 main ways you can make a quarterly tax payment. You can send that payment in by mail to the IRS, but this is, the modern age where things are very easily done online. The other 2 ways, on irs.gov, you can make a payment through an ACH withdrawal, which is directly through the IRS, or you can use a third party that has partnered with the IRS to do a credit card or debit card payment. There is a fee with the credit card and debit card payment, so just be mindful of that. But I'm going to walk you through the second option, which is making that payment using the ACH withdrawal. All right, so here we are on irs.gov. From the website, you're simply going to go down here to make a payment. Once you've clicked on make a payment, you'll see your 2 options to make that bank account direct payment, that ACH payment, or to make that debit card or credit card payment. So like I said, I'm going to use the bank account direct pay option here. And from here, you're simply going to click on make a payment. If you've made some payments in the past, you can also look up those payments from this site. But I'm going to go ahead and click make a payment. Once I'm on here, this can hang people up sometimes, the reason for the payment. you're just simply going to put estimated tax. So there's a lot of different options here. If you've got a balance due, if you've got an amended tax return, you just want to make sure that you've got the right options selected. If you are a sole proprietor or an LLC, or if you're filing this on your actual personal tax return, then you're going to apply this to that 1040. And then you also want to be mindful of the tax period. So in this case, we're in tax period 2021. There may be some periods throughout the year where there's multiple tax periods listed, and I have seen it where the wrong tax year has been selected, and it's caused just a little bit of mix-up with the IRS and a little bit of work in just making sure that the IRS is able to track that information. So estimated tax, applying this to our 1040 for tax period 2021, and then I'm just confirming that information. And then the next step is going to be verifying some of your basic information. So you'll just want to match up this information to whatever your most recent tax return was. The information is pretty straightforward: your filing status, your name, social security, date of birth, so on and so forth. And then once you've completed this section, the next thing that you're going to see is going to be the actual payment amount. And so whatever quarterly tax payment you have determined to be the most accurate, then you're going to put that in there. You're going to submit that to the IRS and you'll get a confirmation. Always save your confirmations and just keep them on file. And that's pretty much it. So when you're trying to determine that actual amount, again, get with an advisor. Like I said, at James Family Tax, we help our clients all the time determine what their quarterly amount should be, mainly using that profit and loss statement as a source of truth, determining what that net profit is for the business, and then factoring in that self-employment tax, factoring in that effective tax rate, that marginal tax rate, to get it as close as we can. At the end of the day, the goal is to get that tax liability as close to zero as we possibly can whenever it comes time for filing. So the less that you're having to owe, the better. The less that you're giving to the IRS throughout the year and then just getting back as a refund, that's a win as well. Thanks so much for watching this. I hope this was helpful to you. Again, if you have any questions at all, reach out to us at James Family Tax. Thank you. Bye-bye.